Finally.
I figured out there were two, three
So
things that had to be changed.
that's
So,
it. Now it's already live.
okay. Okay, we'll give it a few minutes and then we'll get started.
Sure.
Mataji, should I paste the link or something?
Which link? I've already said now.
Okay, okay. I just asked, right? Because I didn't keep the window open.
No, not YouTube link. YouTube link we are not sending.
Okay. Fine. Okay, we'll get started. Om Ajnanatimirandhasya
Record.
Okay. Okay. ज्ञानतिमिरान्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनाशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मीलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः मुखं करोति वाचालं पङ्गुं लङ्घयते गिरिं यत्कृपातमहं वन्दे श्रीगुरुं दीनतारिणं परमानन्दमाधवं कृष्णचैतन्यमीश्वरम् नमो विष्णुपादाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्त स्वामिन्निति नामिने नमस्ते सारस्वते देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्यदेशतारिणे जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंदा श्री अद्वैता गदाधार श्रीवासादि गौरभक्तवृंदा हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे हरे Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare. We'll offer prayers to Valmiki Muni, Hanuman, and also Lord Sri Ramachandra. कूजन्तं राम रामेति मधुरं मधुराक्षरम् आरुह्य कविताशाखां वन्दे वाल्मीकिकोकिलं वाल्मीकिर्मुनिसिंहस्य कवितावनचारिणः शृण्वन् रामकथानादं को न याति परां गतिं वेदवेद्ये परे पुंसि जाते दशरथात्मजे वेदप्राचेतसादासीत् साक्षात् रामायणात्मना अञ्जनानन्दनं वीरं जानकी शोकनाशनं कपीशमक्षहन्तारम् वन्दे लङ्काभयङ्करम् मनोजवं मारुततुल्यवेगं जितेन्द्रियं बुद्धिमतां वरिष्ठं वातात्मजं वानरयूथमुख्यं श्रीरामदूतं शिरसा नमामि आञ्जनेयमदिपाटनालनं काञ्चनाद्रिकमनीयविग्रहं पारिजाततरुमूलवासिनं भावयामि पवमाननन्दनं यत्र यत्र रघुनाथकीर्तनं तत्र तत्र कृतम् अस्तकाञ्जलिं बाष्पवारि परिपूर्णलोचनं मारुतिं नमथ राक्षसान्तकम् जयत्राशतसन्त्रासध्वान्तविध्वांसनोदयः प्रभावान् सीतया देव्या परमव्योमभास्कर श्रीराम राम रामेति रमे रामे मनोरमे सहस्रनाम तत्तुल्यं श्रीराम नाम वरानने. We are now in the Kishkinda Kanda. Kishkinda Kand is the okay. The Kishkinda Kand is the section where Lord Sri Ramachandra meets up with the Vanaras. We have seen that in Balakanda, we learned that the supreme absolute truth is Sita Ram. In Ayodhya Kand, we saw that the Lord has auspicious qualities and he exhibited all these auspicious qualities. In Aranya Kand, we saw how Sri Ramachandra is Sharanagata Rakshaka or Sharanagata Vatsala. He took care of all of them who surrendered unto him. And the essence of the Kishkinda Kand that we have to learn is that we should understand that the Lord is obtained only through Guru. There is no other way of getting the Lord. He can be approached and he can be attained only through the medium of a Guru. How do we know that in the Kishkinda Kanda? We see that Sugriva, he wanted to get the friendship of Sri Ramachandra, but then it was possible only when Hanuman came as a messenger and he made the friendship possible between Lord Ramachandra and Sugriva. So, a quick revision. We saw the beauty of Pampa Sarovar. Ramachandra and Lakshman, they walked into the Kishkinda area. They crossed through Pampa Sarovar, and Ramachandra was feeling deep separation from Sita Devi. Seeing the presence of Ram and Lakshman, the Vanaras, they got alarmed. And there was one particular Vanara who was jumping from one tree to the other, and he was extremely agonized. He saw Ram and Lakshman and he thought, oh, maybe Vali has sent these people. So he asked his dear minister Hanuman to go and find out their true intentions. So Hanuman, he goes in the dress of a bhikshu and he tries to question Ram and Lakshman as to who they are. But then, as he is speaking and he's relishing the beauty of the Lord, he's able to see the real identity of Lord Ramachandra and he begins to introduce himself. How did he introduce himself? Though he had a plan to hide behind the dress of a bhikshu and introduce himself as a wandering saint, he started telling that he's none other than Sugriva's minister. And then he said how Sugriva is also desiring friendship with Ram, and Ram also revealed the fact through Lakshman that they were also desiring the friendship of Sugriva. Ramachandra was very impressed with Hanuman's speech, and Hanuman took Ram and Lakshman on his back to the place called as Rishyamukha Parvat, where Sugriva was stationed. And a pact of friendship was formed between Lord Ramachandra and Sugriva. They exchanged each other's stories. Ramachandra got to see the jewels that were dropped by Sita, and then Sugriv, in great depth, he was talking about how Vali and Sugriv had a big fight and how Sugriv accidentally closed the cave, and Vali was very, very furious when he came back and he saw that Sugriva had taken over the kingdom. He became very angry. Though Sugriva fell at the feet of Vali and surrendered to him and told him, "Please forgive me, I give back everything. It was not my intention to snatch anything from you." Still, though he surrendered again and again, Vali would not um, uh, excuse him. Rather, he built so much enmity towards Sugriv that he banished Sugriv out of the kingdom. We also saw that there was a surrender to Ram, and Ram surrender when Sugriv surrendered to Ram, the friendship was immediately accepted and Vali was eliminated. But when Sugriv surrendered to Vali, unfortunately, that particular surrender did not work. So we should know whom we are surrendering to. We also saw how Sugriv told the story of Vali and Dundubi. And he also said that Vali was so capable that he was able to just shake huge sala trees and make them leafless. So he was indicating to Ram in various ways that it is not easy for you to kill Vali. It's going to be a big task. So you have to prove yourself that you are capable. And that is when we see the story of how Ramachandra, he kicks the skeleton of Dundabi and it goes flying several yojanas. But still, Sugriv was not very convinced. He said, "Oh, but when this buffalo demon, this Dundubi, he was in full flesh and fat at that time. Vali was able to fight with him, but then this is just a bag of skin and bones. So you kicking it very far is not a great action. Rather, you should show something more, and that is when he shoots an arrow and it knocks down the seven sala trees. And then they take a decision that now Sugriv has to go and face Vali. And there was the first fight that began between Sugriv and Vali. Sugriv went and called out Vali. Vali came out, and then they started fighting. But when they were fighting, Sugriva was thinking that Ramachandra is going to shoot an arrow, but Ram never shot an arrow. And Ramachandra said, "Look, you both look so close to, I mean, you look so similar. It is so difficult for me to differentiate the two of you, and I was scared that I will shoot an arrow at you. So I couldn't actually shoot that arrow." And then they had a plan to differentiate, and he made Lakshman a garland Sugriv with a Gajapushpika creeper. And once Sugriv bowed down with folded palms in front of Lakshman, then he was empowered to go and face Vali. So he goes and he faces Vali the second time. And when Vali was about to get out of his palace to face Sugriv for the second time, Tara, the wife of Vali, advised him. She told him, "Please don't go. This is not the right time." It appears that Sugriva's voice, his tenor, his attitude, everything has changed. That means that he has made friendship with somebody. And I've heard from Angada. Angada has some spies, and I heard that this friendship is not any ordinary friendship. It is made with the Prince of Ayodhya, Sri Ramachandra. And Ramachandra is known as Dharmatma, and he's easily not conquered in battles. I think you should hold off. But then Vali said, "No, no, no. If he is such a great person, why will he attack me? I'm going to just go face to face fight with Sugriv." So, what Ramchandra is going to do there, and he dismisses Tara's plea and he moves on to fight with Sugriva. And the fight starts, and of course, Sugriva is beaten black and blue, and it's almost impossible for Sugriva to even take a chance actually at this point in time. And he's frantically searching out for Ram, and Ram finally shoots an arrow that goes, it comes out, that blast of arrow, it comes out like the end of time, and it goes and it hits the chest of Vali, and Vali falls down to the earth with the arrow shot on his chest. Vali begins to question Ram in various ways. He says, "What did you do? How can you do this?" There is a big talk between Vali and Lord Ramachandra, and he begins to accuse Ram in various ways. And he has a few questions, and this is the summary of all the questions that we saw in our previous class. He said, "Did I come and do a mistake in your land or in your country? Why did you kill me? Actually, Ramachandra is the one who's in Vali's land, right? In one sense. But so Vali is asking, I never came to Ayodhya. I never came to your land. I didn't come to your country and do something there. Why did you kill me when I'm here? I have nothing to do with you. That's the first question. Then he says, do we have any earlier enmity? Maybe for many generations, our ancestors have been fighting, or maybe you have some long lost enmity with me and you want to take revenge. Did I take away your wife or your money, or did you plan to kill me? What is this? We don't have any earlier enmity also. Forget the earlier enmity. We don't even have an introduction to each other. Did we even have an introduction? Why did you have to kill me in your very first introduction to me? You just come, you shoot an arrow. I've never seen you before. You don't know who I am. I don't know who you are. What is this? And more than anything, why did you not kill me face to face? That is the standard Kshatriya code. That too, when I'm fighting with another person from somewhere behind the tree, you're just shooting an arrow. What is this? And in fact, there is no connection between humans and Vanaras. You people, you are city dwellers, right? You are eating wheat and rice and grains and fruits and vegetables, but we are just living on fruits and tubers that is there in the forest. There's absolutely no connection between us. Not just that, what is the use of killing me? Will my skin or my hair or the nail of Vanaras be useful for anything? Nobody even eats our flesh. Nobody wants our hair. Nobody wants our nails. We are thoroughly useless. We are not edible in one sense. So nobody hunts us. What is the sudden interest for you to come and hunt me like this? Finally, he says, do you even know that it is such a great sin to kill a king? Because Vali, at this point in time, he was a king. He was the king of the Vanaras. So he tells Ram, you have accrued a great sin by killing a king. A killer of Brahmanas, cow, king, all of them, they go to hell. Do you even understand this? And finally, he says, if you really wanted to get Maithili back, what you should have done is you shouldn't have killed me. You shouldn't have shot that arrow. Rather, you should have come and spoken to me. If you had told me openly, I want my wife back, I would have helped you in some way. Why did you end up, befriending that Sugriv and then deciding to kill me? Rather, you could have come and made me as your friend, and I would have brought back Maithili to you. So these are the few points that was raised by Wali. So now we are going to see Lord Ramachandra's answers to these points. And it's kind of an interesting section. It's also quite technical. So I hope we gather some insights from this portion of the Ramayana. So when Vali posed these questions, Lord Ramachandra's answer, the very first sentence he spoke is, actually, you're thinking you're very intelligent, but your questions are very childish. And unnecessarily, you are engaging me in this debate. So, the first question you asked, uh, have I done any misdeed in your country or city? Why did you come and kill me? That was your first question. For that, Lord Ramachandra says, this earth with its mountains, woods, forest, everything, the birds, animals, humans that walk on this earth actually belongs to the Ikshvakus. We are the emperors. When Bharata, he came to the forest and he met me and he went back and he continued to rule the land of Ayodhya and the entire world from there as the emperor. I was given the forests, he was given the cities. So, where is the question of you telling that this is not my land? Everything belongs to the Ikshvakus. Righteous Bharata is ruling the entire world, and as his relatives, we are taking care of this entire world. It is our duty as Kshatriyas. Mataji, I need co host. Sorry, you took the host.
Sorry, Mataji, because devotees are not muting themselves, and I have to unmute them. And
Yeah.
so,
Can you say, give me co host?
yes, Mataji. 1 minute.
Yeah, thank you.
Sorry about that.
So this was the first question. And for that, what did Lord Ramachandra say? Ramachandra said, which part is not a part, which land is not a part of Ayodhya? Everything is a part of Ayodhya since we are the emperors. So, and not only that, you are telling that you are the king of Kishkinda. You are the king of Kishkinda and it is your land. But when a woman was kidnapped in your area, you should have taken some action as a king. You didn't do anything. Right on top of your land, there was a woman being kidnapped, and you knew it because he was actually in friendship with Ravan. So he knew it and he just thought, oh, this is just another incident. Ravan takes so many women, so he's taking another woman, and you kept quiet. Being a king of your land, you did not even take any action. So the answer to the first question, did I do a wrong in your land? The answer is yes, because everything belongs to the Ikshvakus. The second, he asked, oh, Sugriv said there is no prior enmity. Do we have any enmity related to land or related to women, or what is our enmity? We don't have any enmity. Why did you suddenly come and knock me down? So, for that, Lord Ramachandra says, a person who's dharmic, he has three kinds of fatherly figures. Who are the three kinds of fatherly figures? His elder brother, one who gives education to him, and also his own biological father. And similarly, three kinds of people must be considered as younger brother. One's own younger brother, one's son, and one's disciple with good characteristics. You should have considered Sugriva as your son, but you did not. Hmm? Vali, you asked me why I mean, in spite of not having any prior enmity, I came and I killed you, and it's a mistake. But however, let me tell you what your mistake is. When Sugriva came and took shelter at your lotus feet, instead of giving him shelter, what did you do? You drove him out. And not only that, you also tried to kill him. As per Sharanagati Dharma, when one comes and falls at one's feet, one should be given shelter. This is the law of all Kshatriyas and all warfares, right? This is also mentioned in the Vedas. But you did not keep up that particular vow of being a dharmic person. But when I took vows with Sugriva, I took vows of friendship, and I told him that I will stand with him in all ways. So my friend's enemy automatically becomes my enemy. So actually, we have prior enmity because you are my friend's enemy. And if at all, if this is something that is interesting. It is mentioned when we do not give shelter to a person who comes and falls at our feet and surrenders, then how can you expect the Lord will give shelter to us? Right? So this is a nice learning point for everybody. So when someone comes and apologizes and falls at our feet, or pays obeisances and say, I'm extremely sorry, we have to accept. It's not like we say, okay, I cannot forgive you at all. If we say that, then what will Krishna tell about us? Um, so Lord Ramachandra, actually, it's interesting that what he was doing here, it was not inappropriate. His friend's enemy, his is enemy. That is what Lord Ramachandra is trying to clarify here. Not only that, this Sugriva, this Vali, what he did was that he unnecessarily created friendship with Ravana, who is an enemy with Ram, hence he also has enmity with Lord Ramachandra. Who is Vali? Vali is the son of Indra. Sugriva is the son of Surya. Now, for the Lord to descend, for Lord Ramachandra to descend, the demigods headed by Brahma, along with all of these demigods like Indra, Surya, all of them, they requested the Lord should come as Ram, and they promised that they will take the form of Vanaras and assist in his mission. But what did Vali do now? Vali forgot his role. His role was to assist Rama. Instead, what Vali does, of course, this is elaborated in the Uttarakhand. There is no elaboration of Vali's friendship with Ravana at this point. But later in the Uttarakhand, we'll discover that Vali made very strong friendships with Ravana, and they had a pact that I will not question your activities, you will not question my activities. And purposely at this point in time, Vali let Ravan take Sita through his kingdom, meaning across his kingdom in the skies. So he very well knew it, but he thought, this is my friend. I will never question him. I will never fight with him. Instead of making friendship with Ram and assisting in Ram's work, what did Vali do? He was making friendship with Ram's enemy, Ravan. The whole reason why everyone came is to eliminate Ravan. But what is happening here? One of the Vanaras is playing the role improperly. So it's like an actor going onto the stage and forgetting his dialogues and speaking some other dialogue. That time, what does the director do? The director pulls out that person quietly. He says, okay, come out. You're speaking rubbish. And he sends a substitute actor right on the stage. So that is what Ram actually did. He had to eliminate this actor who was doing a wrong performance. So in the middle of the drama itself, he had to finish him. So that is another commentary given by the acharyas, that yes, prior enmity is there in one sense, because this is not correct. Both Vali also has prior enmity with Ram, Ram also has prior enmity with Vali, simply because Ram's friend Sugriva was an enemy of Vali, and Vali was a friend of the enemy of Ram, and he was playing out of character. He also made a statement, oh, I would have brought Maithili back. But then there is no scope for that. Why? Because Ram had already promised Sugriv to bring back Ruma. And if Rama takes the help of Vali at this point in time, then who will bring Sugriv's wife Ruma back to him? There'll be a conflict of dharma. Now, Ram wouldn't know whom he should actually help. He has given a promise to Sugriva that he'll bring back Ruma, but instead, if he makes friendship there and then comes and requests help from Vali, that will be inappropriate. He has to kill Vali. That way, he can keep up his promise that he made to his original friend. So, the third question is, we have not even had an introduction. Absolutely no introduction. Suddenly, randomly, one person comes and kills. So, for that, Ramachandra says, actually, there is no need of introduction. Sugriv's wife, Ruma, is like a daughter to Vali. Now, there is a statement in Shastra that one's younger brother's wife is like one's daughter. Three people are considered to be one's daughter: the younger sister, or sister in general, the daughter herself, and the wife of the younger brother. These three are considered to be one's daughter. And what did Vali do? He took away a woman who's like his daughter and he wanted to be with her. So there is no excuse for this in the Shastras. Now you did two major mistakes, Ramchandra is telling. One is you inappropriately took your daughter in the wrong way. Okay, that is one mistake. Second, you did not give shelter to the surrendered. So generally, when a person has committed sins, what happens? He's taken in front of the judge. And the judge will not tell that I need prior introduction. I should know you very well before I give the verdict. No judge is going to tell that. It doesn't matter. The judge will give the decision right there, seeing the sins that the person has done. A judge will give his verdict without any introductions. A sinner will be punished immediately, and there is absolutely no need for any introductions. And these are the sins that you have performed. This is answer 3 to the third question. Fourth question, why did you kill me? Okay, you killed me. You wanted to kill me. You didn't have an introduction. There was no prior enmity, whatever. For all this, you're giving answers. But then why did you have to kill me from a tree, behind a tree? Rather, you could have come face to face and then called me for a battle and killed me. So at this time, Lord Ramachandra, actually, if you remember the previous class, when Vali was speaking, he was identifying himself as a Vanara, very strongly as an animal. Okay, we are animals. Our hair is useless. Our teeth is useless. This is useless. That is useless. We are forest dwellers. We are living on tubers and fruits, and you are polished humans, etc. So Vali kept identifying himself as an animal. So Ramchandra said, oh, you're calling yourself as an animal. How do you think animals are killed? Whether it is a Kshatriya who's killing animals for sport, or whether it is someone who's killing animals to maintain law and order, how do they kill animals? Do they go and stand in front of the animal like a tiger and say, "Oh, tiger, I would like to kill you. I fold my palms. Please accept. I will shoot an arrow at you." Nobody does that. They just shoot an arrow from wherever they are. They kill animals in a speedily way. They stand, they stay behind trees, they kill animals when they are moving, when they are vigilant, when they are non vigilant, whatever condition the animal may be, the hunter hunts down the animal. So there is no sin in killing animals when they are turning away, when they are looking elsewhere. So like this, he gives an answer. But then many people they come and tell, oh, Ramchandra didn't go in front of Vali and kill him face to face because Vali had the golden pendant. And Ramachandra's powers will go away in front of Vali. Many people talk like this. Many retellings may also have that. But then the commentator Govindaraja, he comes and he tells that is not at all correct because the Lord's powers are infinite. Infinite minus infinite is always infinite. The Lord is always Purnam. We hear Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate. Does the Lord become half, quarter, one third? No. The Lord will always remain full. So, not only that, the power of that Kanchanamala or that golden pendant is wrongly interpreted. Actually, it's not that half the power of the person will go. The power of the golden pendant is that all of the power of the opponent comes to Vali when the opponent stands in front of Vali. That is the correct interpretation given by the acharyas. They tell it's not 50%, it is 100%. If someone is standing in front of Vali in a fighting spirit, on a combat spirit, then 100% of that person's strength will come to Vali if he is wearing that Kanchan Mala. Okay, so, but however, here is the Supreme Lord. Even if he goes in front of Vali, nothing will happen to the Supreme Lord. And not only that, if it is true that, Ram's strength and all would go away, in the beginning itself, when Tara and Vali were having a conversation, Tara could have brought it up. She could have said, when she glorified Ramchandra so much, she could have said, hey, wear your pendant and go, and nothing will happen. He didn't even, actually, the first fight when Sugriv and Vali were fighting, at that time, Vali, here is another cool information that is revealed by the Acharyas. They say they fought twice, right? The first time when Vali and Sugriv fought, at that time, Vali did not wear the pendant. And that is also one of the things that Ramachandra said, I couldn't differentiate between the two of you. It would have been very easy for Ram to have easily differentiated between Vali and Sugriv, just seeing the pendant, right? Common sense. But then the first time the fight happened, he just went. He said, who is this? He's Sugriv. Don't worry about Ram. I'm not even going to face Ram. So he just went without the pendant. The second time only he comes with the pendant. And when he comes with a pendant, Sugriva and Vali are fighting so badly, and Sugriv was losing. And that is when Lord Ramachandra shoots an arrow. Okay, only during the second time. So the point here is the golden pendant will not have any effect on Ram. So that is just a misunderstanding to think that if Ram goes in front of Vali, then all his power will go away to Vali. It's not like that. But Ramachandra purposely shot an arrow. Knowingly, very purposely, he shot an arrow to kill this Vali from behind a tree. Simply because he says animals can be hunted in any way, whether they are vigilant or they are not vigilant. For example, if there is a particular cow that comes, okay, we'll come to that. We'll come to that explanation of a cow coming in the herd of animals. So for this question, just let's keep the answer that animals can be killed in any way. Whether a Kshatriya is killing him for sport or he's killing a cruel animal because that animal is troubling others like cows and other animals. Whatever the situation may be, we don't go in front of them face to face and we kill them. We just kill them from wherever we are. Now, the question 5 was Vali, he asked the Lord, we are a totally different species. What do animals and vanaras have to do with each other? The answer here given by Lord Ramachandra is very simple. He says it really doesn't matter. Where whatever species you may be, whether you are a monkey, you're a vanara, you are a tree, a plant, a tiger, whatever you may be, a human being, whatever you may be, all the living entities are under the king's control, right? A king is supposed to take care of everybody as his own subjects. It doesn't matter whether the person is a human being or an animal. Everybody is his subjects. Huh? Now, this as much as a king gives the same honor and respect to all his subjects, similarly, punishment is also equal. You may be a Vanara, but a mistake is a mistake. Whether you are a Vanara doing mistake or a human being doing mistake or a tiger doing mistake or whatever it may be, it is all the same for a king. So even if you are a different species altogether, still you are under the same kingdom. So you will be punished. The sixth question he asks, what is the use of monkey hunting? Huh? Monkeys are useless, right? Our skin, our nails, our hair, it is not used for anything. But then here he tells something very interesting. Sometimes there are some animals that are very troublesome. We already touched on this point, but here it is more elaborate. Like, for example, if there is a cow pasture, suddenly a tiger or a lion comes. Then what happens? Immediately he is hunted. Why? Because he's causing a disturbance. So he says, similarly, O Bali, you made friendship with Ravan and you were supporting him for the wrong causes. My ultimate goal is to eliminate Ravan also. But all of them who have supported him and protected him shall also be hunted down. So that is the use of this monkey hunting because you're creating a lot of ruckus here and we do want this. Okay, so that is the reason why I shot an arrow. Sixth one, he said, do you even understand what you're doing? You will go to hell because I'm a king and you have hunted a king. So for that, Lord Ramachandra's answer is very brilliant. He says, I am a Kshatriya and I've come from the Ikshvaku dynasty. I don't tolerate any wrongdoing. You have done a great sin. You have tried to lustfully indulge with your own daughter. That too, when the husband is alive. This is very important. When Sugriv is alive, you kidnapped a girl who's meant to be your daughter and you tried to do something wrong. So it is not accepted by the dharmic scriptures. So therefore, if a Kshatriya doesn't punish a wrongdoer, then the Kshatriya gets sin. You're talking about me killing you. But if a wrongdoer is not killed by a Kshatriya, the Kshatriya gets the sin. So actually, by killing you, I will only go to a higher position. I will not go to hell because I've done my duty as a Kshatriya properly. And finally, he says, you are an atata, you're an aggressor. In Vedic scriptures, it is described that when an aggressor comes with a malevolent intention, that is, with a destructive intention, he must be killed. So, you all know how these atatais are mentioned in Bhagavad Gita also. If someone abducts one's wife, exploits her, or abuses her, if someone takes away one's property, someone tries to destroy one's property with poison or fire, and someone comes to kill, all these are different six kinds of aggressors we read, right? So what was Bali doing? He was only being an aggressor, and aggressors are fit to be killed. This is mentioned in all the Dharma Shastras, and as a Kshatriya, he has to protect the land. So there was no harm or there is no sin in Lord Ram killing a person who is an aggressor. Just as Prabhupada says, a policeman, when they arrest and execute criminals who are serial killers, they do not get punishment by the law for punishing these people. A policeman doesn't get punishment. The Kshatriyas are like the policemen, and these are criminals. So Lord Ramachandra says that because for no good reason you wronged your brother viciously, it is my duty to kill you. What are the two major problems here? One is Vali took away Sugriva's wife when Sugriva was alive. That is the point. When he was alive, forcibly he has taken a girl who's meant to be his daughter. So this is the problem. And secondly, he did not give shelter to the surrendered. This is considered a great sin. Actually, one of the greatest sins in Dharma Shastras is when you do not give shelter to one who surrenders unto you. So he says, you're a criminal and I am the policeman, I am the Kshatriya. So you are fit to be punished. So all the questions were answered very, very appropriately. And Lord Ramachandra gave explanations as to why he had to kill Vali. Hearing these answers, what was Vali's verdict? So even to this day, people argue and they blame Ram, right? Oh, Ram, he killed unrighteously. And then there are a lot of sessions of arguments whether Ram did the right thing or he didn't do the right thing. So people keep talking about it even now. But then the affected party is the person who should give the verdict, not us, right? Who is the affected party? It is Vali. What did Vali say? He said, प्रत्युवाच ततो रामं प्राञ्जलिर्वानरेश्वर यत्त्वम् आत्थ नरश्रेष्ठ तत्तथा एव न अर्थसंशय. That lord of the Vanaras, he replied to Ram with adjoined palms. He said, O best among men, what all you have said is 100% right, undoubtedly. Indeed, a person like me who did not follow the codes of dharma cannot disapprove a dharmatma like you, O Raghava. And with regards to the improper words that I have spoken earlier, the questions that I asked was highly unapt and I am blameworthy. I spoke out of anguish and ignorance. This is what Vali says. Tvam hi दृष्टार्थतत्त्वज्ञ प्रज्ञानां च हिते रतः कार्यकारणसिद्धौ च प्रसन्ना बुद्धि अव्यया. He says, you alone are the knower of all truths, Tattvagnya. You know everything. You know the nature of all the truths. You understand dharma, artha, kama, and moksha, and you take delight in the welfare of all the subjects in your kingdom. In fact, your intellect is faultless. You are very, very clear in giving the answers, and you have accomplished your goal without any errors. He says, O Ram, I am the one who digressed from the path of righteousness, and you have done the right thing by eliminating me. So, this is what Vali tells to Lord Ramchandra. This is Vali's verdict at the end of all this. So Vali's position. Of course, Vali is not really evil. Like, he's not a demon, basically. Vali was not a demon like Ravan or someone. He was very powerful and he was quite proud because of his power. He misunderstood Sugriva's intentions. He became arrogant because of power and he did a lot of mistakes. But actually, Lord Ramachandra's arrow purified the heart of Vali. And at the time of death, Vali said, whatever you did, O Lord, is actually correct. So, and in fact, he even says, I may get many births, but I will never get a death like this. So he feels grateful that Lord Ramachandra's arrow actually struck him. He also says, while dying, Vali begins to lament for people around him. He tells, actually, I'm not worrying about myself. I'm very happy. It was your arrow that hit my heart. I'm extremely happy about that. I'm not worrying for myself. Actually, I'm not even worrying for Tara. I know Tara is very smart. She can take care of herself. And I'm not worrying about all the other relatives, but I do have worry about Angada. Angada from childhood, I've taken very good care of him, and he was very fond of me, and I was very fond of him. He'll be so dejected if he understands that I am no more. He'll become like a lake without water. He's very young, Ram. So he and Tara, both of them should be protected properly. They need your attention and protection. In fact, you alone, you are the protector of all the good people. You punish the bad people. So please understand from you are very dharmic, right? So please, as much as you have so much love and regard for Sugriva, the same love and regard should also be given to Angada, and you should be truly compassionate even to Angada. Consider both Angada and Sugriva to be your brothers, just like how you treat Bharata and Shatrughna. So please see that my brother Sugriva doesn't look down upon Tara, because Tara is the wife of his rival. And if you approve of someone, they are capable of getting anything. They are even capable of getting heaven, what to talk of a kingdom. So you please guide them, you please approve, and you tell them that Tara and Angada should be taken very good care of. And he tells, Tara told me in so many ways that I should not go and meet with my brother in that fight. But it appears that I just went against her words just to meet death in your hands. So he just paused after saying all this, and then Ramachandra assured him. He said, "Oh, Vanara, please don't be so worried about your wife and your son. We will surely take very good care of them. And don't think in your heart that I have unrighteously killed you or something. And at the same time, please don't bother yourself so much, or don't blame yourself saying that you have committed sins. All this has happened because of fate." So he tries to console Bali, and Bali was sprawling on the ground. Uh, he was in deep pain, and he couldn't even speak after he heard the words of Ram. He felt consoled. Then, meanwhile, the news it went to Tara that her dear husband had fallen down. He was struck by the arrow of Lord Ramachandra. तं भार्याबाणमोक्षेण रामदत्तेन संयुगे हतं प्लव प्लवग शार्दूलं तत्र शुश्रवमालिनाम्. Tara, the wife of Vali, she had heard that her husband, that tigerly Vanara, was liberated in a fight with Lord Ramachandra. So, hearing this gruesome killing of her husband, she was shocked. She rushes out of Kishkinda along with Angada. And she saw, when she was coming out of the caves, she was seeing all the Vanaras. They were fleeing in all directions. And Tara stopped them and she said, "Hey, Vanaras, why are you running away like this? You just left off your king. I heard my husband has been struck down. You just left him and you're running like this. What's wrong?" And they, in turn, they told Tara, "Oh, lady, please return. Please go away somewhere. Take your son, safeguard Angada, and go somewhere. Rama killed Vali, and next our entire kingdom will now be vanquished. So just take Angada and go away somewhere. Let the kingdom of Kishkinda be safeguarded. Quickly go somewhere and anoint Angada as the next king. We don't want to have any more losses. Your staying here is no good." And Sugriva, along with Ram, they will come and they'll take over this entire kingdom, and they will cause a lot of trouble to us. When Tara heard all this, she lamented. She said, "What are you all talking? There is no use of a son, there is no use of a kingdom, and there is no use of myself when my husband, that lion like Vanara, is going to die. He's struck down, and you're telling me to run for my life? Who cares for my life? Who cares for the kingdom for my son? I don't care for anything. I just want to go and see my husband." So her heart was filled with agony, and she was beating her chest and head, and she was running towards Vali. When she reached there, she saw her husband, who was the destroyer of great demons like Mayavi and Dundabi, and he had never lost a battle. He was so glorious. That Vali, she had seen him fallen down, struck by the arrow of Lord Ramachandra. And not only did she see Vali nearby, she saw her husband's younger brother Sugriva and also Lord Ramachandra leaning on his bow along with his brother Lakshmana. So Tara was wailing and she went running towards her fallen husband. And Angada, he also came there hearing the news. He came towards his father. So everybody, they assembled there, and Sugriva was feeling miserable because he felt he was responsible for the whole thing. Tara, she looked at her husband and she fell down onto the ground and she embraced him. She told him, "I am now drowned in an ocean of sadness in your absence. My heart is so sturdy, I can't believe it. My heart should have splintered into 1,000 pieces. But seeing you dead, even then, my heart is still staying steady. How hard hearted I am. You snatched away Sugriva's wife, O chief of the Vanaras, and you expelled That Sugriva who came and fell at your feet, and that is the reason that you have fallen down today. I gave you beneficial advice, but I wanted to, I was only thinking of your well being. I was wishing your welfare, but then you brushed me off and you went and fought with Sugriva. Look at this. Finally, I'm widowed. And Angada, he was raised with so much love and affection. He's accustomed to comforts. Now he has to undergo trials with his paternal uncle Sugriv in your absence. You started to go towards the other world, but then you didn't kiss goodbye to your son, Angada, and you didn't give me your parting messages. Because at this point in time, Bali was unconscious. Okay. So she's calling Vali, wake up, what are you doing? And she tells Sugriva that she looks at Sugriva and she says, so Sugriv, you must be very happy now. You can take back your wife Ruma and you can take back the kingdom also. And then she looked at Vali again and she started to talk to him and she embraced him and she tried to gather his attention. He was still unconscious. So she was talking to him. She was telling, look, oh Vali, all your wives are gathered here. Vali had many wives. So all of them are gathered here, and all the wives there, they were trying to wake up their husband, but Vali did not wake up, and they were very sadly embracing their son Angada. Then Tara said, if I have done any undesirable deed in front of you, if I have behaved badly in front of you, please pardon me before you depart. I bow down at your lotus feet. So she bows down at the feet of her husband and she begs for excuse from the offenses that she could have done to her husband. All the Vanara females, they were all weeping. All these ladies, they were weeping. And Thara decided at this point in time, I am going to immolate myself along with my husband. I'm going to enter fire with my husband. This was the thought that Tara was having. And she said, it's time for me also to depart. What is the use of my life without my husband? And that is when Hanuman comes and he stops her. He tells, no, Tara, this is not how you should be speaking. Hanuman told Tara, time is the greatest chastiser. Vali is not dead in the hands of Sugriva or in the hands of Rama. Actually, it is time. He was destined to die because of whatever actions he had performed. Why are you lamenting? For whom are you lamenting? When you yourself are in a lamentable state, for whom are you lamenting? When you yourself are in a pitiable state, for whom are you feeling pity? Hmm? Who is pitiable by whom in this world? All of us are in these bubble like bodies. We are coming and we are going. How long does a bubble last? It just lasts for a few seconds and it pops. This is only the body. You have to continue to live because you have a son. You're living with your son. You have to take care of this young Angada. There is a big future in front of Angada. You have to think of his well-being and you have to perform all the duties that a father has to perform to him in the absence of his father. So you know this very well. You know that we all take birth and we die. And this external body, this gross body is made up of earth, water, air, fire, and so on. But then the soul is not touched by all this. You know the science very well. So Bali, he has been a good king. He observed some friendliness with his ministers and he forgave some people. He did a lot of righteous things as much as possible. He tried to be a good king. For that reason, he'll be given a higher destination. But this is the time that he's going to pass. So a person who passes doesn't return. So don't waste your time lamenting for the person who is leaving. Think about what you have to do next. So Hanuman says, let the cremation of Vali happen and let the anointment of Angada, that is the coronation of Angada happen. These are the things that have to be taken care of right now. So like this, Hanuman spoke to Tara and he tried to convince her. And Tara shook her head and she said, no, even if they are 100 Angadas and one Vali, I will only choose that one Vali. Oh Hanuman, how can I enthrone Angada when Vali is not there? It is the duty of the father to enthrone his son. It is not my duty to enthrone him. And this, my husband is in his deathbed. And at this time, you're talking about how I should be anointing my son? No, that is not what I want to do. So she was lamenting like this, and at that time, slowly, Vali, he regained some consciousness and he started glancing around. He saw everybody, he saw all of them lamenting, and his glance fell on his brother Sugriva, who was in front of him. Vali looked at Sugriva and he gradually nodded his head and he said, "Oh, my dear brother, it just appears that we both cannot live together happily in this kingdom at the same time. When you are king, I'm not going to be there. When I was king, you were banished. You must be understanding that I'm going to go to the abode of death. So now you get ready, become the king of the Vanaras." So Vali said like this to Sugriva, and he said, "More than my life is my son. So the son Angada is going to stay with you. Take care of him like your own son. You must be like a father. You must protect him from all sides and assure fearlessness unto him. This daughter of Sushena, my wife Thara, she is very insightful in every way. Keep her by your side, and whenever you take decisions, take her advice. Whatever she says, it is always proper and it must be done. Nothing contrary happens to her opinions. If she says something, just listen to it because she knows best. You have to accomplish Raghava's mission undoubtedly. These are the instructions for Sugriv. The first instruction is that take care of my son. Second instruction, take care of Tara and ensure you always listen to Tara. Third instruction is that you have to accomplish Raghava's mission. You took the vows of friendship, that on the altar of fire. So, if at all you dishonor him, you will be punished terribly. Never go back on the word that you have given to him. These are the three instructions that Vali gives Sugriv, and he takes off that Kanchanamala, the golden pendant, before he dies because he doesn't want the blemish of the Kanchanmala touching a corpse because it is so powerful. So he takes out that and he gives it to Sugriv and he tells Sugriv, "You wear it. You are the one who's fit to be the prince or the king next." And he tells Sugriva, "You wear it." So it was Vali's decision that not Angada would be crowned, but his brother Sugriv would be crowned. So, like this, Sugriv, when he heard all this, he started lamenting. He felt so guilty. He started crying. And Vali, he slowly stopped speaking. And he just passed on the golden chain to Sugriva. So, Vali was getting ready for the end, and he calls Angada and he very affectionately gives instructions to Angada. He tells, "From now on, my dear son, you should learn to tolerate pain and pleasure, happiness and misery, and also always remain under the guidance of Sugriva. You, since you were a child, you have been very mischievous, you have taken a lot of advantage with me. I am your father. I can easily forgive you for everything, but Sugriv may not really approve of your bad behavior. So do not resort to bad behavior." Then his eyeballs started rolling and his mouth was opening, and finally his teeth was visible and a blaring sound was heard from within his chest, and his life air took flight from his body. It just went out of his body. So, like this, Vali, who's the great destroyer of so many demons, who's the destroyer of a Gandharva by the name Golabha. There was a Gandharva by the name Golabha who was killed by Vali. So, like this, he killed all these great warriors. This Vali was now fallen down, and there was an ocean of sadness that everybody felt when Vali departed, especially Tara. Tara, she collapsed like a creeper and she started lamenting. She laments for a very long time in various ways, like how a wife would lament on the death of her husband. So, in various ways, for one full chapter in the Ramayana, she laments. And then finally she concludes saying, my dear husband, you neither listened to my words, nor was I capable of stopping you from going and facing Sugriva on this day. Now I'm doomed along with my son. So when Tara was lamenting like this, Sugriva, who was the brother of Vali, he started feeling very guilty. He was regretting for killing his brother. Uh, and he was seeing how Tara was lamenting like this, and tears were filled in her face. And he slowly walked towards Ram. Sugriva slowly walked towards Ram, and he started blaming himself, and he was pouring out his heart to Ram. He said, Ramachandra, when a king is killed, a king like Vali is killed, and an empress like Tara is crying like this, the entire city will be filled with sadness. And look at Angada's state. He's even thinking whether he should continue to survive or not because he's so fond of his father. Looking at all this, looking at the state of Tara and looking at the state of his son Angada, my heart is not going to take any happiness in the kingdom. In the first instance, I agreed for the elimination of my brother because I was very angry, I was intolerant. But then now, oh, best of the Ikshvakus, oh Ramachandra, when I see that Vali is being put to death, I feel miserable. I don't want this kingdom. I think it's better for me to live in this Rishyamukha mountain forever in the same condition. Let me live like an ordinary monkey. Even if I get heaven or a kingdom or whatever on the death of my husband, it is not going to do any good for me. This is very, very similar to the lamentation of Arjun in the battlefield of Kurukshetra. In this story of Ali and Sugriv, it also teaches us a lesson that actually sometimes in a fit of anger and in a heated moment we might become great enemies with our loved ones, like our own relatives, people who mean so much to us. We suddenly start hating them and we go to the extent of even cutting off relationships with them. But then we realize, at some point that maybe we took this decision, we were in a fit of anger or when we were intolerant, because at the end of the day, we truly don't like to see our loved ones suffer. Even if there is some enmity, temporary enmity with our loved ones, our heart will hanker for their association and hanker for their well being, like we see in the case of Sugriva. So Sugriva was lamenting and he was thinking, what is the use of this kingdom? I am letting my dear brother die, and and this Tara, who's the wife of my brother, she's lamenting so badly. So he tells Ram, whether killing one's brother, I didn't know, would be so self-torturous. What is the use of this kingdom? In fact, this Indra, he acquired sin by killing Vishwarupa, who was the son of Twashta. Like that, even I have also acquired sin by killing my brother. And this sin I have acquired by killing my brother cannot be absolved at all. The earth, waters, trees, and the women folk, they took the burden of Indra's sins. But who is going to bear the burden of my sin? The sin, that too, a sin of a monkey. Who wants to share? Who wants to share the sin of a monkey? People were ready to share the sins of a great demigod. Now I have created a much more sin and nobody even wants to share it. So, like this, he says, I am the cause of the ruination of my own race, and Angada will be without his father. Tara has to foster Angada. But if Angada dies because he is heartbroken, then Tara will also die. And then, when I become the cause of everybody's death, why will I want to live? So it is better I also enter a blazing fire and I will depart along with my brother. That way I can get absolved of my sins. And you please take shelter of Angada. He tells Ramachandra. He tells, you make friendship with Angada now, and with Angada and the rest of the monkeys, you go and search for Sita and find Sita. Now Ramachandra was thinking, what is all this? So he was thinking, this is really getting out of control. And Ram was also feeling very emotional because unnecessarily he was pulled into this fight, right? These two people, they fought with each other. Now this guy is crying and he's telling, oh, I unnecessarily killed my brother, so I will enter the fire with my brother, and you take Angada's help and you go and find Sita. And Ramachandra was like, but I shot the arrow, what is all this? He was also feeling emotional. Ramachandra was also thinking, what is happening here? And he was feeling so emotional listening to the words of Sugriva. But then, when the fervor, that is the story, was going in different directions like this, suddenly Tara, she who was crying, holding her husband's body, she looked up and she was extremely angry at Lord Ramachandra, because Ramachandra was the one who shot the arrow. She got up in great anger with red hot eyes. She went towards Ram, and the minute she reached the proximity of Lord Ram, her whole demeanor changed. The Sattva Guna manifested in her, and instead of going and shouting abusive words at Lord Ramachandra, she was so moved by the presence of the Lord, by the beauty of the Lord, and she started glorifying the Lord. So this happens again and again in the Ramayana. When someone goes in front of Ram, how can you abuse Ram? How can you scold Ram? Your heart automatically changes. So Tara, initially when she got up, she was thinking, I'm going to go and scream at Ram and scold him. But rather, what did she do? When she went near him, everything changed and she was immediately put into the platform of goodness. She said, त्वम् अप्रमेयश्च दुरा सदश्च जितेन्द्रियश्च उत्तमधार्मिकश्च अक्षीणकीर्तिः च विचक्षणश्च क्षितिक्षमावान् क्षतजोपमा अक्ष. You are aprameya. Aprameya means it is very difficult to estimate the Lord. The Lord is not known easily. She says, you're in front of me, but I'm not able to understand who you are. In fact, even the Vedas don't know the Lord. Neither does the Lord know him fully, right? Because the Lord is not able to cope up with his own glories. We say Sesha is trying to glorify the Lord with his thousand tongues and he's not able to do it. So his glories are unlimited. She says, you are unknown. Your greatness is unknown to everyone. You're standing in front of me, but still, I'm not able to understand your greatness. You are inaccessible. You're not accessible by one's senses and words. I'm not even able to gather my words to glorify you. It is so difficult. Durasadascha. It is so difficult because you're inaccessible to senses and words. He's also Adhokshaja, is beyond the senses. She calls him Jitendriya. You are actually self conquered. Your senses are conquered. Though you killed Vali, you did not think that I should grab this kingdom. You did not think I should grab his wife. You have your senses fully under control. Uttama dharmikascha, you are the topmost among all the righteous people because you knew what dharma is and you gave shelter to Sugriva who came and surrendered to you. Not only that, to the person who was your enemy, you shot an arrow and you purified him of all the sins. So your glory is unlimited. Akshina kirtihi. That means your glory cannot be within a limit. It is unlimited glory that never reduces. Though you killed Vali from behind a tree, still there cannot be any fault in you. Vichakshanascha. Can anyone blame Ramachandra for what he did? No, people talk about it, but nobody can really pinpoint and blame Ramachandra. Whatever he does, there is no fault in his activities. Vichakshanascha. She says, Kshitik Shamavan, you are so patient and tolerant. You have the endurance like earth. You showed patience in this entire process. Not just that, Kshatajopama Aksha. You have very, very beautiful lotus like reddish eyes. It is reddish like that of an emperor. It is very red when it is attacking the enemies. That is when you're angry with your enemies, your eyes become red. But the same eyes become red when these eyes see a devotee. That is the glory of your lotus eyes. So like this, she goes and she starts doing stuti. She starts glorifying the Lord. And she says, the way you stand in front of me with that bow and arrow, your appearance is divine. It is not like any other human being. No human being can have this kind of an appearance. And then she tells, you, I understand that you're somebody really, really special. Oh, brave personality, just kill me with the same arrow that you killed my husband. And I will also die with the arrow that you release. And I will join Vali. So, and she tells Ramachandra, if you're hesitating, how can I shoot an arrow at a woman? Don't hesitate, because the soul of a husband is the wife. So, if Vali is dead, then there is no harm, there is no blemish in you shooting an arrow at me. So, you will not be tainted with the sin of killing a woman. Then, when she said all this, Ramachandra, he consoles Tara. He says, don't worry, everything will settle down soon. Your son will become the crown prince, and destiny is such that you have to stay after the death of Bali. And the wives of great Kshatriyas, great warriors, they do not mourn so much emotionally. Be strong, everything will be okay. So like this, Ramachandra consoles Tara in various ways. Now there is a question again raised here. Was it if we said that taking away Ruma by Vali was wrong, then Tara living with Sugriv after the death of Vali, is that correct? So that is a question that is often raised. The answer given is that Ruma was abducted by Vali when Sugriva was alive. And of course, according to Shastras, one may not lustfully engage with one's sister in law who is like one's daughter. Okay, so according to that, it is wrong because she was forcibly taken and her husband was alive. In the case of Tara, it was Tara's decision to remarry. Okay. And according to Dharma Shastras, there is a provision for remarriage of women. A woman can remarry if her husband is lost meaning he just went away and he got lost somewhere and he never returned. When he's dead, when he's deserted, or he becomes a eunuch. In these five situations, a woman is allowed to marry another man. So Tara consciously decided to remarry a Sugriva, and also that way her son becomes the prince because she was the queen and she cannot be deserted. She had to be under the care of another Vanara, and she chose Sugriv. And her son was the crown prince. So, as the mother of the crown prince, she had to remain the queen. So, this is the logic that is given. And also, there is another comment put by the acharyas that according to the Vanaras, this is Vanara Dharma, they say, for the Vanaras, a lady who is surviving after her husband can choose and live with the person that she desires to. But however, for according to the man, but however, when a lady has her husband who's living without her right or without her desire, she may not be abducted. So, like this, there are some comments, and that is the reason why when Sugriva, his wife Ruma, was taken by Vali, it was wrong. But later, when Tara decided to go and live with Sugriva, it was considered logically correct. Okay. Now, for human beings, we can't apply the same rules. We follow certain dharma shastras, and again, according to time, place, and circumstances, we should see what is suitable and go according to scriptures and according to Guru Sadhu Shastra. So I'll leave it there. Okay. Now we'll proceed further. Now, Ramachandra. Yeah. So what was happening at this point in time? Ramachandra was consoling Tara. He said, see, you are the wife of such a great warrior. You should not waste your time mourning like this. And not only that, the person who has died will not receive any happiness when you mourn. This is something very important. When someone dies in our family, what happens? We start mourning so much, we cry so much, and we are thinking that the person who's dead is going to be pleased by our crying. The person will feel bad if we don't cry. No, it is wrong. It actually pains the person even more. So one should not lament too much at the time of death because it pains that soul, and that soul will be forced to come back. You're not letting that soul to pass on by your mournful cries. So Ramachandra says you have to move on. There are so many worldly observances that have to be done. You can shed tears, but then don't lament so much that time just passes, right? Sometimes lamentation can be so severe that we are losing time. Every second is important in our life. There is so much to do. At the end of the day, everything is happening because of fate. Ramchandra is telling fate is the instrument for action, fate is the deciding factor, everything is controlled by time. Bali's soul has attained a very high destination. So you have to move on. You just cannot keep crying. It's like that story that is given in Srimad Bhagavatam about the death personified coming in the form of a boy in front of the wives of Suyagnya and telling the story of the two birds that were on the tree, and a hunter came and fell down one bird, and the male bird was lamenting so much in separation from the female bird. Another hunter came and shot at that arrow, and that bird also died. So, what are we doing in lamenting? We are forgetting what we have to do, and we are also simply dying. It's not needed. So, Lakshmana consoles Tara, and then Lakshmana tells Sugriv, you attend to the funeral rites and let it be performed properly. Keep Tara and Angada in the front and arrange for the cremation of Vali. Bring firewood, bring sandalwood, and bring Vali on a big palanquin, and let all the final rites be done perfectly. So, getting these instructions, Angada he performs the final rites, and water oblations are given for the death of Vali. And Sugriva, he was he was lamenting so much, and he was lamenting in the separation from his brother after he took his bath after all the rituals. The picture here you see, this is actually the ash mound in Kishkinda. They have a location which is called as the region of Vali's Ash Mound. It's called, the name itself is Vali's Ash Mound. If you go there, you can see the place of cremation of Vali, and there is huge heaps of ash archaeologically found beneath this area. So it's nothing but a deserted land, and it is considered the place where Vali's final rites happened. That is the tradition that we hear. And archaeologically, they have found heaps and heaps of ashes in this place. So that is again in the area of Kishkinda. So then Hanuman, he comes and he tells Ramachandra, now that the final rites are over, if you empower Sugriv can enter the city of Kishkinda and he can be crowned as the king, and Angada can be crowned as the prince. But then Ramachandra said, that's very nice. Please arrange for everything. But I have been given orders by my father that I have to be in Vanavas. So I cannot enter a city or a kingdom. So I cannot enter a village or a city or a kingdom and do the coronation ceremony. Rather, let Hanuman, he tells Hanuman, you, Lakshman, and other Vanaras, you all go and do the ceremony, and I will stand outside the city. So they decided to coronate Sugriva as the king and Angada as the prince. And Ramachandra tells the Vanaras that now the Chaturmasya period is going to begin. It is the specified period for the rainy season. And after these 4 months, let us start our mission of going and finding Sita. So he reminds Sugriva that I will stay here in this mountain called as Prashavana mountain. It is also called as Malyavanta Parvata. There are two names mentioned in Valmiki Ramayana itself. I will stay in this mountain. And I know that the mountain is very beautiful. There are beautiful caves that is pleasing to the heart. There is breeze, there is water, and in the water, I see beautiful lotuses. It is an ideal place for me to stay there. At the advent of the Kartika Mass, which is the last month of the Chaturmas, at that time you start making preparations for the elimination of Ravana. Please gather your troops and start getting ready so that at the end of the Kartika Mass, we shall all proceed and we shall find Sita. So he gives this instructions. Then Sugriva is taken inside and he's anointed. So all the Kishkinda members, all the citizens, all the Vanaras, they arrive there and everyone prostrates in front of Sugriva, who's their new king. And Sugriva is taken into the chambers, into the palace of his brother. And then they started to do the ceremonial bathing ceremony, and they offer jewels and garments and nice food to Sugriv and of course to all the Vedic Brahmanas and everybody. And there is a fire altar and rituals are performed. And very nicely, they bathe him and he is named as the king. He's crowned as the king. So, like this, the Sugriva's crowning happens in the absence of Ram, meaning Ram stays outside. And Sugriva is very, very happy. He's not only acquired the kingdom, but he's also acquired his wife Ruma. And he appeared like Indra on the crown, on the throne of Kishkinda. Now, Ramachandra, where was he? He was in this Malyavanta Parvat or Prasavana mountain. It's a very beautiful place to even go and visit today. This is one of the hills where you can go on a car. The rest of the places you have to trek, okay? Because Kishkinda is full of rocky mount hills. It's full and full rocky hills, but very few places you can take the car. 99% of the hills you have to climb physically. Some hills have steps, like the Anjanadri Parvat has steps, but otherwise it's proper rock climbing. You just have to go and figure it out. But this place, we could take the car because it's quite a tall mountain, and there is a beautiful temple there. It is called as the Malyavanta Raghunatha temple. It is the exact place where Lord Ramachandra spent his Chaturmas. If you see this back side of this is the top part of the mountain, the cliff of the mountain, whatever, the hill, the top part of the hill, there is a big boulder like this, right? You see this boulder, and inside that boulder, there is a cave. And that is where Lord Ramachandra lived. And the descriptions exactly match this place. So Ram, along with his brother Lakshman, they go to this mountain or this hill, and they enter a particular cave on top of this hill. And this Mount Prasavana, it was crowded with different kinds of animals and birds and creeper plants, monkeys, baboons, wild cats, and so on. And there was ample space inside that particular cave where they went. In fact, there is a temple only inside the cave. Even now, you can go into the cave, you can go inside the temple, and you can see the spot, the resting place where Ram and Lakshman used to sit. And that is where the deities are installed. And he describes this cave. He says, this cave is with its northeasterly slope. It will be homely for us since the inrush of rainwater will be less. It has a northeastern slope. So the inlet of water during the rainy season, water will not come inside, and it is upraised in its westernly portion. Therefore, the cave will be less of gusts that come from the east. So there will not be any rainwater clogging inside, and too much wind also will not come there. It will be a very ideal place because it is strategically located like that. And then he also points to a black stone. He says, look at this, there is a nice black stone available at the doorway of the cave, and that looks like a mound of mascara, and it is broad and it is even surfaced, and it will be a very pleasant place for us to sleep, repose. It will be a very pleasant place for us to take rest inside. Actually, that's how the cave is. If you go inside, you can see this is, of course, it's upgraded with tiles and all, but actually, it's a cave. If you see the inside, it's full of rock actually. And here you see the deities of Sitaram Lakshman. Hanuman, everybody, all the deities are there, but at that point in time, only Ram and Lakshman were inside. Okay, and you can circumambulate this Garbhagraha also. You can go around and you'll see it's a cave only. Like everything around is like a cave. You have to bend and go, and you can circumambulate this place, and you can see the place where Lord Ram and Lakshman actually used to sleep. It's a very beautiful place, and there is Akhand Ram Nam there. There is one particular group, Ram devotees. They sing Tulsidas Ramayana day in and day out, continuously, 24 by 7 kirtan happens there at the in the mantap there. It's very nice, actually. It's a very, very blissful place. So Ramachandra is telling here, there are melodies of, I can hear Ram is telling to Lakshman that in this place we can hear the melodies and the tunes that is being played in Kishkinda. So much, I can hear all of that here. And we can even hear how the Vanaras are beating drums, which means that the region of Kishkinda was not very far away. The kingdom of Kishkinda was not very far away from this mountain. So he was very happy to go there along with Lakshman. And though he was staying here in this very beautiful place, he was feeling very sad, thinking about his wife, who's greater than his own life. He was thinking about how Sita was kidnapped, and he was feeling so bad that he couldn't see her beautiful face. So when he would lament like this, Lakshman used to console Ram. He used to tell, "Oh, Kakutstha, oh dear Raghava, you can inverse the order of earth along with all its oceans, forests, mountains, and all that. What to talk about Ravana? You can easily get rid of Ravana. So just let's wait for this autumn season to end, and then we will surely find Sita and we'll bring her back." So Ram was feeling consoled by the words of Lakshman, and he was eagerly waiting when this autumn season will end and when he can start the mission with the help of Sugriva. These are more pictures of the Malyavanta Parvat, Malyavanta Raghunath temple. You can see boulders and all that. If you enter, this is actually a cave. You enter it, you can go and take darshan of the deities. There is a beautiful, here also there is a beautiful carving of Sitaram Lakshman Parivar, and there is a entrance temple of Hanuman, and then you can see it is, according to the local folklore, the Ramachandra had these different Sahasralingas that he used to worship and all that. They say about it. Some people say it was the later kings. Whatever it may be, it's a very beautiful place. So you can come on top of the mountain and see all of this. And there's a nice, well-functioning temple in that area. Very blissful place. Okay. So there is a description of Mount Malyavan in the rainy season. So basically 4 months means it is two ritus. It is both the Varsha Ritu as well as the Sharad Ritu. Both are happening in these 4 months. So time was rolling month by month. The season was also changing. 2 seasons had to change in Chaturmas. So Ram, he tells Lakshman while he was staying in this Mount Malyavanta, he tells about how this Vali has been killed and Sugriv has been enthroned, and time is passing. Now it is the rainy season. Can you see the sky is filled with clouds? And in this month, which is August, September, this is the time of the singing of Samaveda. And during this time in Ayodhya, Bharata, he would be listening to the chanting of the Vedas, and he'll be carrying out all his activities in the Kosala kingdom during this Chaturmas season. So he is thinking of his wife. He's also thinking of what could be happening in Ayodhya. So Ramachandra says this rainy season it looks so beautiful, and in this time I can imagine the Sugriva, he must be enjoying all the luxuries. He has just become the king, he has regained his wife, he's gotten the kingdom. He must be enjoying very nicely. Then he tells Lakshman, look, I'm feeling very, very sad because I'm separated from Sita. I, I was kicked out of the kingdom. My wife was stolen. I'm such an unfortunate person. And I'm just toppling over every minute. So he says, I wish Sugriv very soon takes up this task of finding my wife. I've made friendship with him. I hope he doesn't forget it. And I hope there is no doubt in this matter. And he comes and he helps me, and we can somehow find Sita. So, like this, he was opening up his heart to Lakshman in various ways. And Lakshman assured Ram, O Lord of the people, Sugriva will definitely do what you desire. Don't worry, let's wait for the autumn season. There is so much heavy rainfalls. Let all this go, and very soon we can go and we can find this Ravan and we can bring back Sita. Time rolls by, and the Vanaras, they were enjoying in sense pleasures. Then one day, it was already near Kartik month. Okay, it was the Kartik month had started, the last month of the Chaturmas. That is when Hanuman he goes and he understands that things are getting late. Sugriva has not taken any action, so he goes and he starts advising Sugriva. He tells, "My dear king, a proper king is one who conducts himself punctually. He's amicable with friends. Only such a king will become glorious and his kingdom will flourish. So you have this treasury army, friends. All this will stay with you only if you keep up your word. You had made friendship with Ram. It's high time you achieve the purpose of Ram. They both have come here in search of you, seeking your help. You must act appropriately. And if you do, just keep overindulging yourself and you don't stick to your promise, you will get into deep trouble. Time is moving, okay? The Chaturmas is going to end soon. So don't lose your fame by breaking this friendship and not acting on the request that has been asked. In fact, this Ramachandra, he is very, very capable. He's very capable of even controlling the demigods and demons and even the great Nagas and Yakshas and Rakshasas, everybody under his control. And he has come and he has told you that you are his friend and you must help him. And you have given your word. It's not that he's not capable, he's very capable, but he has come in search of you and you have entered a pact of friendship. So the search for Vaidehi should start immediately. So give us a command. Let us start the search, or let's gather all the Vanaras as soon as possible and come up with a plan before the end of the last month. Hearing this good advice, Sugriva, he immediately takes action. Okay, in this part we should remember Sugriva took action. Sugriva, what he did, he called Neela. Neela is the commander in chief of Sugriva's army. So he calls Neela and he gives him an instruction. He tells, foregather all the monkeys in all the directions. Monkeys means Vanaras. Get all the Vanaras from all the directions in this world. All sorts of Vanaras should come here immediately, and you have only 15 days time, 15 nights time, because the chaturmas was about to end. You have only 15 nights time, and a person who comes after the 15th day, he will be terminated, he will be killed. So they, whichever corner the Vanaras are within 15 days, they should all be in Kishkinda. Along with Angada, go and approach the elderly Vanaras and also great personalities like Jambavanta and others, and you please tell them about my decision and order. So, like this, Sugriv, he started ordering Neela, who's the commander in chief. And after he gave all these instructions, and Neela decided to dispatch Vanaras to bring all the Vanaras from all the directions, what should one do? What should Sugriva do? Sugriva, once he has given instructions and he has started action, he should communicate. He should go and tell Ramachandra, I know that Chaturmas is ending. I have dispatched the Vanaras to fetch other Vanaras and we are collecting our army. He should communicate, but he did not communicate. He was so much driven by sense pleasures that after giving instructions, he went back to the cave to enjoy sense pleasures instead of giving the information. So, this miscommunication creates a lot of action in the next few chapters, and Lord Ramachandra and Lakshman, they become extremely angry. So the lesson learned here is, yes, we have great intentions, we want to help each other, we have good friendships, we want to keep up our friendships, be mean well to others, but all that is good, and we might also be taking action towards that. But it is very important to keep the other party informed about our actions and our intentions. Without communication, everything will become a big mess. So we'll stop here and then we'll see what happens in the future chapters. We'll see whether Ram really believed what Sugriv, was doing. Did Ram get angry? Did Lakshman get angry? And then what happens and how Sugriva actually comes back to his senses and he's out of all this sense pleasures and he becomes normal, and then they start searching for Sita. So that we will see in our next class, and I'll end here. Parima Mataji.
Hare Krishna.
Go ahead, Kirti the Mataji. I have questions. I will ask them later.
No worries, Mataji. Even I have questions. But thank you so much, Preethi Vilasini Mataji. Thank you so much for this excellent class. And sorry for the confusion in between that happened.
No problem.
So, Mataji, I have this question that one thing, yes, you have answered, because even I have this question that how come Tara was again accepted by Sugriva as his wife, though she was also a motherly figure, being a wife of the brother. But you said that in monkey dharma it is allowed.
That's how the commentators say. They say, in according to the Vanara Dharma, it is allowed for a woman to choose her husband even after death. Now, the relationship per
Mm.
se didn't matter. Yeah, because the husband is dead. Yeah.
Yeah. So, Mataji, in one of the slide, you mentioned the 5 reasons. Then the
Huh.
husband lost, deserted, death, and eunuch. But it was only 4 that were mentioned.
Let's see, one second. Lost, I think far, wait, yeah. Yeah, lost, dead, deserted. If he is deserted by everybody.
Yeah, lost, death, and deserted, and then eunuch. 4.
Lost, dead, deserted, eunuch. Oh, I will find out and tell you, Mataji.
Oh,
Good. Yeah, I will find out. Yeah, sure.
no problem. And Mataji, another question is that what was the destination that was achieved by Vali?
Yeah, this is $1 million question. Depends on the commentary of the acharyas. According to Maheshwara Tirtha, I read that he was liberated. According to Govinda Raja, he didn't want to comment. He just said he achieved a high destination. That's all. So it depends on the view of the acharya. That is my understanding. In some places, it says Ramabanena Moksham, meaning he was liberated by Ramabana in some places of the Ramayana itself. But again, in some places it is mentioned he attained a higher destination like Swarga. Now, according to, like for example, I'll tell you, this is kind of different. According to the Sri Vaishnava school, even Dasharath gets only Swarga, which
Yeah,
is
that you told that because Dashrath want to see uh, pastimes about further the pastimes of Lord Ramachandra. If he would have gone back home, back to Godhead, he would not be able to see the other pastimes of Ramachandra.
That's true. So Dashrath also gets Swarga, but according to these most commentaries, he only gets Swarga. According to some commentators like Maheshwar Tita and others, he gets liberated. So I think this is an open-ended question. I leave it there. Yeah, but there are verses in Ramayana that says moksha. It uses the word moksha. He was liberated by Ram Sar.
Sure, sure. Thank you so much, Mataji. Yes, Parima Mataji, please go ahead.
Hare Krishna Mataji, again a very wonderful class, very, very beautiful. All the slides and all we could have the good fortune of seeing those places, at least in pictures. So thank you for that. Mataji, I have 3 questions.
Hmm.
First one is, when did Vali befriend Ravana? I thought they had a big fight when Vali defeats actually Ravana and throws him to Lanka.
Yeah, and then they make friendship with each other. They, after a fight, you enter a pact. Okay, you say,
Oh,
oh, yeah,
okay.
that's when it happens. It happens during the same time. Yeah.
Okay, sorry, I missed that. And the second question is, didn't Tara forbid the forceful acquisition of Roma? I mean, she's such a, pious lady and such a lady situated in Dharma. Didn't she say to counsel her husband if there is any mention of that, you are not supposed to take away your younger brother's wife?
No,
Or
later she
could
blames him when he dies that you shouldn't have done it. So it's more like Ravana's case where no, he's not ready to listen to anyone, right? He just takes away Mandodari. I mean, he just takes away Sita, and then Mandodari later she comes and she tells, "Oh, you shouldn't have taken Sita when he's dead." And even when he's alive, also she advises. Many people advise him. Appears to be a similar case, but no details. Yeah.
Okay. And Mataji, what do you mean by a deserted husband? Who deserts the husband? The wife or the family or both?
Family. Everybody has deserted. He's alone and he cannot do anything by himself, then he's deserted.
So the wife is free to give up such a husband?
Don't ask me under what situation.
Sorry. Yeah, that's what I mean, it implied that, a wife is free to remarry. That means that she can also give up, right? It doesn't, at least that's what it means.
Yeah, again,
Sort of.
translate circumstance. Let's see.
If you can get any details, I mean,
Yeah,
I was kind of curious. What do you mean by a deserted husband? Yeah.
yeah, it could be, and I've also heard about diseased. I have heard, but I will give you the exact words, okay? So I will give you the exact words from Manu Dharma Shastra. Let's see. I will send that in the group maybe. Okay.
Okay, Mataji, no problem. And last question, that remarriage thing that, if in all these circumstances a woman can marry, but did that apply to the human society as well or
No,
no?
we're talking about human society also. Yeah.
Okay, so that applies to the Vanaras also, that means, right? Vanaras and humans.
Non-rasa and humans. Yeah,
Wow.
widow
Okay.
remarriage is allowed in Sanatan Dharma. It is
That's
allowed.
so great, and it has been so much misinterpreted over the ages that we always think that it is kind of, oh my God, the wife remarried. But yeah, it was allowed. But in the medieval times, the women were not allowed, and they were forced to live life of a widow. So
Mm. Yeah.
during the medieval ages, so it's
Yeah,
kind
that's
of,
true.
yeah.
But it is allowed in the Dharma Shastras.
Okay, thank you so much, Masterji, for this wonderful class.
It
And
was
if you
not
can,
something, sorry.
what?
Yeah, it was not something that was preferred. So it was not something that was voluntary or it was preferred by women. But there is a section that allows it is okay. It is
Yeah,
better to.
because sometimes a woman needs protection, if she's.
Under such basis, there was
Mm,
allowance.
yeah. Okay. Yeah. Thank you so much, Mataji. And if you can find out about that that thing, that would be great. And if you can post
Oh,
it in
I
the
know.
group.
The other one is one who's, I think we covered that. We said eunuch, but actually a person who's impotent kind of a thing.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. That I could get that. Impotency was a great ground even back then.
Back then, you can marry immediately.
Yeah, yeah, and to get a child at least.
Yeah, correct. It was
Yeah,
allowed.
yeah. So okay, Mataji, thank you so much for all your clarification and your wonderful class, your wonderful service. Hare Krishna, done with pranams to you, Mataji.
Thank you, Mataji. Haribol.
Mataji, can we take deserted to be divorced? But I don't know whether in monkey family it happens.
But divorce is not there in Sanatan Dharma, right? Like once you take vows in front of the fire, you cannot cancel the vows.
But again, you know that human Manu Shastras and Vanar Shastras are different.
Maybe, I don't know. Yeah. Yeah. Manu Dharma Shastra, Yagnavalka, etc. Yagnavalkya Smriti, they have these, where is the whole thing? It's giving lots of examples of people who remarried. It's not giving the exact codes. But I'll find, I'll send this.
You
I'm
can-
reading it and also marking it for some class in the past, but I don't know where it has gone now.
No worries, Mataji.
Yeah.
Okay, dear devotees, anyone else has anything to say? Okay, Mataji, thank you so much. Thank you. So still we'll continue with Kishkinda Kand only, right? Next.
Yeah, I know. Yes, Kishkinda Kand, because we are about in 29 chapter or something. Yeah, Hanuman's advice to Sugriv was 29. And then Sharadratu we were seeing. Yeah, Sharadratu and Lakshman's Fury I wanted to do today, 30 and 31, but we didn't do. So 30 to, yeah, maybe 2-3 more classes. Yeah.
Okay. No worries, Mataji. Thank you so much. Okay, dear devotees, thank you all so much for your association. We'll stop here. Vancha kalpatarubhascha kripa.
कृपा सिंधुभ्यः च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। कोटि वैष्णव की जय, श्री लीला प्रभुपाद की जय। Glories to all the symbol devotees. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Mataji.
Thank you, Mataji. Hare Krishna.